Phantasm.
Oh, God, Phantasm.
Phantasm. If you're not aware of Phantasm, the tall man.
Mm-hmm.
The tall man, his little compressed corpse dwarfs, and the little spheres that suck your brains out and just pull it down onto the floor.
Now, it didn't have a game, but it has had some homages in video games.
Yes, yes.
For those of you who are old PC gamers, you may recall the Blood franchise. Came out shortly around, like, first one came out around the Duke Nukem era. Second one came out close to around the Quake era and stuff like that. Actually, Blood 2, The Chosen, was the one where they actually allowed you to actually have a weapon that was the spheres.
Mm.
You know, you throw them at somebody, they smack into someone's head, drill their brains out, and it came right back to you.
Yeah. So if they can do homages to this movie franchise, where the fuck is the game? That's all I want to know. And done in a shooter style is really the only way that you could do justice to that particular franchise.
Well, the franchise actually calling one of the coolest weapons in any movie we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Quad barrel shotgun.
And it was badass.
It was badass.
It was totally badass.
It splattered compressed, dwarven corpse all over the place.
So remember, quad shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, moving on. Prophecy. Not really horror. Not really horror.
Depends on you know what? It's still better than Saw. It's more horror than Saw.
Or Hostel. Now, this, I think, would be really good done in like an Arkham City sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're going around, you're looking for the other fallen angels to stop them. They're trying to bring a second hell on Earth. Whatever.
Or just kill a bunch of people.
Yeah, just killing a bunch of people.
It's pretty simple formula, people.
It is. And even though they're very simple formula for the movies were phenomenal. About up to number 3.
Christopher Walken, of course, had the best one-liners.
He did. He really, really did. So if you haven't seen those, check those out, and you'd see why that's included on our list on games that we would love to see. Done in an Arkham City style, where you're rolling through a big ass city, trying to stop them, trying to protect certain people that are chosen.
And Christopher Walken, of course, delivering some awesome one-liners.
Definitely. More Christopher Walken in video games. We demand more Christopher Walken in video games. Now is where we're going to move on to vampires. Vampires have gotten a bum rap in games. Very recently there was a game that was released called Darkness or Dark or something like that. Now it's not the Darkness, alright? Not the one that's based off of the comic book or graphic novel series. Those games are actually really, really good. This one was based off of vampires. And if you haven't seen it, go ahead and look up some play video for it or something. I'm not going to post anything because I'm not going to play through that goddamn game again because it was absolutely terrible. Mm-hmm. It was horrible. The voice acting was atrocious and the gameplay was just stupid. But vampires something good needs to be done. Now, there was a company out there, they're still around, they're not owned by themselves anymore, they are owned, they are now someone else's bitch, but White Wolf. Years ago, White Wolf put out a game called Bloodlines, and it was freaking phenomenal. I mean, as far as getting to play as a vampire, roaming through a modern city and everything like that, this game came out at kind of the peak of the whole goth movement thing. Back in, the ass-in 90s, early 2000s?
It was more like mid-2000s.
Yeah.
Because they got away with dropping an F-bomb.
Yeah. You could tell it was done in the style, I should say, of the ass-in 90s, early 2000s, when goth was still kind of relevant.
That's Vampire the Masquerade.
It is. They even refer to it as a gothic horror type game and game style. But
if you live in Portland.
Sorry for all you people who live in Portland. I'm sorry. Terribly sorry for this guy. But Vampire Bloodlines was a great game for the PC. They did a lot. You got to play as a vampire. You had things called disciplines, which were your vampiric powers. Now they differed greatly from how they actually played out in like the tabletop game. For those of you that don't know what a tabletop game is, I guess the closest thing that I can reference is like Dungeons and Dragons, where it's pen and paper, rolling dice, tabletop.
Reading a book.
Yeah, reading. You know, that thing that nobody likes to do anymore. But the game, it transferred really, really well. I'd have to say that the only other game that I'd ever seen that transferred great from a tabletop game was Shadowrun for the Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
The phenomenal game, but that's completely different. Now, while we're on that, movie franchises that kind of need to go into that when it comes to vampires, subspecies.
Mm-hmm.
Radu is the man. And being able to play as Radu, kind of in a, you had quoted like a destroy all humans sense, where you are the protagonist or the antagonist, and your only goal is a body count.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
there'd be a little bit more to it. I mean, Radu always kind of had a, for those of you who haven't seen it, Radu is like he is the epitome of, if Nosferatu from the old black and white film actually had speaking lines, and was, still completely evil.
Completely evil and a little batshit crazy.
Yeah, in a fun way.
In a fun way, yeah.
No, really, but you watch those, he's supposed to be the bad guy, but he is such a good bad guy, you'll like him.
Yeah, he is. He's so over-the-top evil that you actually wind up cheering for him and rooting for him and getting pissed off when he gets punked sometimes.
He comes back, though.
He does. He does come back because he's a badass. You can't keep a badass down. Mm-hmm. And we would like to see a game where, you get to play as Radu, like I said, in a destroy all human sense where, there is an arcing story, and it's usually for, the pursuit of the Bloodstone. That's usually...
Bloodstone, control over the world,
Yeah, companion.
His mom.
The crazy bitch.
We're not making this up.
No, we're not making this up.
Killing off one of his many siblings.
Right. Just...
Even though, wasn't Radu really historically Dracula's brother or something like that?
Yeah.
We're not really sure where the history of Radu from that comes into play.
They really deviated from the history books, but
who cares?
Who cares? It's a great series.
It was actually filmed in Romania,
and that one I think was actually put out by Full Moon Entertainment.
That was done. Yeah. That's a Full Moon classic.
Yeah, it is. I have the entire series on DVD. If you've not checked out Subspecies or seen any of the Subspecies movies, I highly recommend them. They are great, phenomenal movies, and you will love Radu because he's just so over the top, and he is like the quintessential evil vampire that you can't help but cheer for and love. Now, the last one here that I kind of want to talk about, originally it was like a sci-fi horror.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really a horror franchise, if you will. But this is one of my personal favorites, but the Terminator, the original Terminator and everything. Now, since they've evolved the Terminator for some reason to be a good guy, which I'm fine with that, I'm cool with that or whatever, but...
T2 was pretty awesome.
It was. But still, the first one still holds a special place in my heart because I remember seeing that when it first came out at the drive-in. So, and yeah, I haven't been the same since. I think this one would be really good as an open sandbox GTA type style. Now, we've kind of discussed the plot line of this a little bit, where Skynet knows that it's not going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what it does is it sends Terminators, it just blankets and sends Terminators, whether they're T-1000s or whatever the chick was supposed to be, and other various models back to the modern day, and they're just trying to get a body count. They're trying to make it so that way the human race really doesn't survive it as well. Taking out key generals. You get to play as the quintessential either Arnie or another model, but I think they should keep it...
No, you need to be playing as Arnie.
Yeah, I think they should keep it as the T-800 model, and essentially your whole purpose is to go around the city, tracking these things down, stopping them, getting into firefights with them in the middle of downtown, you know, car chases and everything. I mean, how cool would it be to use the mechanics of what, like they had in GTA 5, where when you snap on your Terminator vision when you're driving, you know, you're tracking the vehicle and everything else slows down around you because you're processing the information so fast, you know, because you're a CPU, you know, so you can track and target and drive and maneuver. Now, for Game Boy Advance, they came out with a really good Terminator game, and I really like the way that they did it because as you took damage, the more of the endoskeleton would start to show. So, yeah, kind of done in a GTA style. So, I think that that would be a good premise for that as, like, you know, a starter where you're roaming around. I know I kind of spent a little bit more time talking about that one, but you know me, you know, Terminator. I got a bunch of Terminator stuff here.
He does.
I got to bust the head and anyway. So these are just some of our ideas, guys. Again, these are our rants, our opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead and let us know what you think down below in the comments. If you think there's certain types of franchises out there that are well past due for their own game, others that you think need to kind of be redone, or genres that you think that just kind of need to die off, go ahead and post it down below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And thanks for tuning in. I am Runeding.
I'm Twisted King.
And as always, contemplate this on the Tree of Woe. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Later.